Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone had a wonderful um, Thursday. And Friday is doing you delightful. All right, Bitcoin. We're still just stuck in a range right now, rising channel that we've been in for quite a few days now since the start of the week. Basically, just been in this rising channel pattern here. Pretty much right now in between the point of control and the value area high. Which is where we've been seeing price cap out at. Again, still trying to basically get back inside of the larger channel that's on the monthly time frame, and that's been a haggle. But as I said to you on the last stream, as long as it continues to hammer, there's a good chance that it will break back inside and attempt to push up a little bit higher here. But right now, this is the catalyst right here, right here. Looking pretty decent overall here. When I look at our dashboard, everything except for the monthly time frame at the moment. Strong bullish momentum here to the upside. Everything looks clean. Nothing seems to be overextended right now. I mean, if you've been playing the range, I suppose you've been able to get some good scalps in here, but not really anything. Unless you bought from down here lower at the value area low. Um, the moves have not been very big moves at all, but enough to get you paid. That's for sure. Enough to get you paid. This is the 1 hour time frame. Let me see what the RSI is looking like here on the 1 hour time frame. Coming back into an area where we have seen price action cap out at before. Just here, the last time we got a little swing fail pattern here off the prior high of momentum there. So at a 67, I don't think that I'd be able to line anything up perfectly right now. So yeah, so basically it would just be looking for something here around this value area high, uh, pretty much as momentum does start to push up into again another place where price action capped out the last time, something like that. Good liquidity up here as well. So yeah, that's the move. That's the 1 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame when we left it off on what day was that? On Wednesday, yeah, we basically got a back test into the channel breakout here, the larger downside channel breakout that started earlier this week. So this one here, if we get through, I would look for. Oh man, that would put us back inside of that. I don't know, that's for sure. All right, so we know that the okay, so the value area high on the lower time frame is going to be right here. This 4 hour time frame actually looks pretty good. 4 hour looks good. 4 hour doesn't look like we had any issues with momentum whatsoever. So if I plot a momentum line here, we've had zero issues with the momentum here on the 4 hour time frame. None. Just dropped into support and kept it going. So I can see a little bit of divergence right here, but that's neither here nor there. Great place for it to swing back to the upside, holding the mean reversion. That looks good. Now this one I probably will be able to use a lot easier. I'm gonna go ahead and hide that one so we can just focus right in here. See, I'm gonna just highlight some local resistance in here as we push up. So we're gonna find some local resistance, probably right in here. We have some local resistance here, and then of course here at the rejection point, and you can see that this has been our rejection point right through here. I've been using the midpoint because when you have an order block and you're pushing up, ideally you want to see it cap out around that midpoint of that order block. So we did that the last time. Will we do that this time? We'll see. But price action from a 4 hour stance, and it might be the better time frame to use is going to be this one. Yeah, right in here. You can see how it held it up right in here, and then it also had a cap. Well, it held it up right here as well. So yeah, it would come into some local resistance right here. That price target is going to be 65,500. Let's go ahead and round that number up, 65,500. Once we get beyond this point right here, that's what we have to look forward to. So I'm go ahead and highlight both of those. With this one, I am basically going to just going to use the liquidity at the top of this one because it is some good liquidity right there. So I'm just going to use that on this one. Mm-hmm. I do like that a lot. That's basically been our rejection point with the wicks on top, but I'm not going to draw it from there. I'm going to leave it as is like this. And let's see. I mean, this could be a breakout point. Let me just look and see if we have any possibility of a breakout. Yeah, it looked like it could be a breakout point. Um, Either that or this Bollinger is just going to keep it held down right here. It's not really a squeeze, but it could still push up and just kind of consolidate between, in the trap here between 1 and 2, just like it did right here. When you look at that channel from the lower time frame, when you look at that rising channel, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at price action being stuck in, being in the trap right here. And then you can see how it came back and it held at 20 SMA, which would make sense right here. So possibly like it did like a 50, did a mean reversion also on the RSI there. So if it breaks out, I would, I would expect for this liquidity right here to be taken, as we've hammered it so many times. So liquidity gets taken, and then we look for that push into that 65,500 right there, where I'm not saying that it won't wick through it. We look for a rejection off of that point right there. Maybe even a little liquidity grab over here, okay? So that's going to be that on this 4 hour. And let me just check and see if that was pretty much correct. Yeah. So a mean reversion across the board right here on the 4 hour time frame, which is looking kind of nice. 4 hours looking kind of nice. All right. So we watch for that. Um, push out on the daily time frame. Still haven't changed the structure overall here on the daily time frame, but that could be something that happens with, from looking at that 4 hour time frame, which was going to be like the you can tell that this is the same area that I'm looking at off of the 4 hour time frame, because you can see where it stalled out there, and stalled out there. So I just put a marker right here so you can see how it's stalled out here, stalled out. Let me just get my drawing tool right here. I'm not the best when it comes to this, but you can see how it's stalled out there. It's stalled out right there. It's stalled out right here. So again, that 6,500, that could be a thing. That, my friends, can be a thing. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. That's a little bit over what I was looking at on the 4 hour time frame, but nonetheless, it also lines up. The reason why it looks different because I put it on the wick, as opposed to using closing price action to determine what that resistance would come in at. All right, so looks pretty good there. Continuing to chop the value area. No, the point of control. Continuing to chop the point of control of this larger range here on the weekly time frame, and of course hitting into our lows right here. That's been major resistance. The lows through here, which this is basically going to look the same as the monthly time frame. When I push forward, you can see, like I said, we're just trying to get, and it looks like we're slightly above it right now into that channel. We're slightly above it right now, but all of our rejections have basically come from here. And of course, our larger rejection that was there at the 66.99 level. But to just, to simplify things, let's just work it back over here to the 4 hour time frame here. and make this our primary focus. That way, you're not getting chopped up on lower time frames like the 15-minute and the 1 hour time frame. If you've been trying to short it anyway, I know that we were looking at a potential for a potential short the last stream, but there was no confirmation on it at all, and I haven't tried to do anything different. I'm just still holding the same short. That was, I think it was this. Oh, maybe it was this one. I'm not sure. I can't at this point. I can't remember. Uh, but and I'm still holding the same long, coming up off of the lows here. So I haven't had to take any new entries here on Bitcoin. Um, but yeah, I mean, looks good. Looks pretty good. Flat tops get taken out. All right. Let's see. Let's switch back to the lower time frame. Hmm. Sorry, I don't even have any music going right now. Just the silence and me. Let's go with our basic chill right here. I had a couple of things I'm going to cover today. Going to get into the U.S. market, of course. Take a look at crude oil. Also, I didn't do a lineup card for it, but I am going to take a look at it, see where we are. Um, so I did a post on crude oil. I just want to keep it moving because I know I'm getting started kind of late too, later than I usually do. So I'm going to jump over here, take a look at crude. So, as you can see, I got this little D right here. So it's a little bit of a delay. It's a little bit of a delay here. Let me click on. Yeah, you see the data is delayed. It's something with trade and view on certain assets where it's gonna price action is gonna show behind. Sometimes I'll jump over here and use the USDT one, so you can see the big difference right here. If I use the USDT one, how that makes a difference. I haven't mapped anything out on the USDT pair, so I can. So I'm still gonna have to go back over to the other chart. So you got your local resistance right here, which is these prior lows right in here, and then as price action does start to push up a little bit higher, uh, this is where it becomes a problem for me because everything is basically off of the other. And this doesn't have enough data, so this is problematic. I'll tell you what, to simplify my life, it takes a little bit more. Let me just do this to simplify my life so I can see. where the high pitch volume is coming in at. I really prefer, like with oil, to just look at the levels plainly. Some of them I can really see coming up through here. Some of them I really can't identify all that well um, without doing without doing it the way that I typically do it, which is, yeah, this isn't it. So local resistance right in here, that was easy to identify. Um, go up on the chart. Let's see. I can tell you right now that this level, they look, they look totally different. They're like two totally different charts. I don't like this. I'm gonna take this off. I really don't like it. All right. So if you can see here, off of this chart right here. I haven't. I made a few adjustments to my levels a little bit, just to account for the latest pivotal points. Um, but a lot of it is still the same because I never really had to change it. But I started to notice how price action was coming back to the more recent pivot points. So just like over here on this chart right here, I probably would have dropped this in a little bit lower. Right here, I decided not to move it yesterday because the swing point for this right here is a really beautiful swing point for it. So I left this one here, and you can just see how it kind of chopped over it. Whereas I probably would have got, or you could have got. Hold on, let me undo that. Let me get rid of that. Okay, I can see that. It's detailed. Would have got better results had it been like this, because I noticed that it was respecting the more recent pivotal points as opposed to the older ones that I was using. It still holds up around those areas. It's just that it pushes over them a little bit, and you can get better entries if you just look at the more recent data right now. Coming down, um, these would be the respectable levels coming down, but once you start to put in your new zones, then coming up would you would need to adjust them for coming up because now it's gonna be looking at this new data unless I do it from a higher time frame, and everything that I have over here, I did it from this time frame, 4 hour. It was all done from 4 hours, so you can see how you would have got better results. Let me turn off my pivots. Would have got better results by just going with some of the newer stuff that's in here right now. So that would put us up here into this gap. Um, next, um, and so I'm gonna do it like this because it did um, eat into some of that gap before getting stopped out right here at this ascending trend line right here. All right. See, you're not gonna have any gaps or anything like that on this one here. And see, these are, I don't know that I like this too much. I'm gonna try to do this because of the the issue with so you don't quite tap it here. The issue with the delayed information. You can look for this to hold. And I'm gonna go with that as opposed to right in here. So right across here. Uh, could look at that too, but just to give it some room, if it holds a higher low, that's about what I would be looking for right there for it to hold local support right through there. And then if it does come back up and get through this point right here, then I am going to focus right, no, not right here, but right here. I'm going to focus. Uh, I can see more than I just like how it tapped out those two times right there. And then, of course, you're going to have this right through here. So you can see this low and this high right here. This sandwich right here on oil, but pretty steady right now as I'm just going to change these to red, ton of yellow, huh? Ton of yellow, change that to red. And can look right here. I mean, for some local, I guess, some because if it doesn't hold it as I'm gonna do it just like that. If it doesn't hold it as resistance, it'll break above it, come back and test it as support. So I like this sandwich through here. So I like that. So that's what we'll be watching for here on oil as talks continue. Um, that's what it looks like. All right. Let's see. On the 4 hour, just want to check and see what we're looking like in terms of momentum. All right, so we got a pitch. So right here at the mean, so this must be our mean reversion right here. That looks like where, yep, that looks like where price action stalled out at the first time right here. Got the big bear div right here. So there's divergence on the 4 hour time frame as well. Trading very below the mean. Uh, huh. Had some bullish divs right through here though. So maybe it puts in some additional bullish divergence on the move down. Let's see if it's going to take out. Got anything better? I don't have anything good on this chart. It's not enough historical data on this chart right here. Um, so 71. Yeah, 71. If it wanted to come back and finish filling in this gap right here, uh, that could make sense. Um, to the downside, that could make sense if that bear div was to play out pretty heavy, and I don't think that it will. Right now, I don't lean towards that. Let me lock that up. So there is a unfilled gap right in there. Um, so yeah, let's simplify it right now and just look and see how price action does if it pushes down a little bit more right here. Play out the bear div between this high and this high right here. See how this local support right here holds up, and then we'll take it from there on, on oil. All right, let's see. All right, let's go ahead and jump over here and take a look at SPY. Take a look at SPY. I like to use SPY as opposed to the S&P 500. This is the ETF version right here, the ETF uh, top 500. All right, so we left things off on Wednesday. I apologize. When we left things off on Wednesday, we knew that we were hitting some resistance. I had my I had already was sharing the top. Not that one. Not the- Nope. Make sure I find it. I have not organized a thing. A thing has not been organized. It might be. no, 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 no. Oh, I think I have to go to 24-hour chart anyway. Just this. Let's see, because I was having some, maybe one of the, anyway, uh, I cannot find, I've got to get this organized. This is such a mess. This is such a mess over here. We were hitting the rising, the ascending ray through here for, this, let me see, let me see. This might have been it. Right here. I think this is how I had it laid out, was like this, because the last time we were looking at it like this, and then we got the rejection back down below it. So we understood that we were hitting it right here with this green candle. That is what we left things off, left things off at. It's hitting it right here with the green candle. I hit it, not delete, but I hit it because I felt as if price action could push up a little bit higher. So we're looking right here at max pain 1 and max pain 2, which is a 1.272 and then a 1.618 along with the rising side of this channel right here. So just kind of using where we find support, where we were finding support at prior. Where we were finding support at here, between here and here. And then we started to get a few wicks down below, but reclaiming back above this trend line right here. So I just left it like this because normally I don't like leaving the wicks showing. I like to include the wicks on any raise that I do, unless there's something that kind of doesn't make sense with it. But right here, with the exception of this one move right here, this is still doable. Okay, so we're just kind of looking right in here between the 1.272 and the 1.618 as an area of resistance right here. And you can see that we came pretty close into tapping. That's 777 right there. And the high ended up being 776, almost a 777 coming up here, but just slightly missed it with that extra push that came in on Wednesday. On Wednesday. So this is still a great zone to look out for right here for some sort of a rejection on SPY. Uh, Let me look at this weekly here. I'm sorry. These are two different RSIs that you're looking at. I don't know why have you looking at it like that. Though. When you put it on the MACD, so I just kind of feel like where we're at. I mean, just up and away. If I'm trying to use this monthly time frame, momentum is staying pinned to the top side here. So by no means are you seeing any, yeah, just staying pinned to the top side. Just walking the line. Just walking the line. I do see something. I do see something. Let me see here. Just beautiful. I had to be honest. And I do have to be honest. I tell a lie. No, if I had to be honest, this is absolutely gorgeous right here, to say the least. You recall this swing right here. This swing fell here to the downside right here with the bottom and tail wick right there. So it has that swing failure right there. In fact, it's had a couple of times where it just did a swing fail right here. Another swing fail with the beautiful bottom and tail right there. That was another swing fail right there. I mean, from a monthly time frame, that is what it is. Right now, this monthly time frame looks beautiful. You probably wouldn't see anything according to this right here until it got to about 74. So it must be far above. Um, it's far above this ribbon So on a downside move here, let me see, it's far above. Yeah, I could tell it was far above, far above. Um, it would be back here into our level right here, which is around 700, but that's so far off the table right now. Like, that is nowhere to be found. That is so far off the table. I mean, this is just you're straight up, straight up. I know you care about what's more close. Hmm. Yeah. Only thing you got in here, as you can see it right there, is just a little lack of momentum through here, but that's about it. We're lacking the momentum right here. And the 4 hour time frame has been a big thing for many of the assets in here. A lot of the companies are seeing that the 4 hours looking to cool off. Like right now, I am attempting to, which I'm in the water a little bit here. I'm attempting to short Microsoft right now, because Microsoft 4 hour is showing that it has quite a bit of exhaustion. It's been that way now for the past 2 days, where it's showing this exhaustion on the 4 hour time frame, and the S&P 500 is not an exception. It is showing some exhaustion here on the 4 hour time frame. I would look for it to pull back into the prior highs in here. Personally, that is what I would look for. That'll bring it back down to roughly a 60 RSI, which maintains the bullish structure. It just brings it back a little bit because it is far away from here. It doesn't require that it comes back into it, but typically you return to your mean. This would be on the faster side of a mean reversion right here. So that is going to be around 756. If it's coming back here into these highs, and 60 on the RSI is going to match up with that 756 right there. So that's something that I will be looking for. I'm looking for it across the board on many other assets. It may not happen. Like right now, it might be sitting at standard deviation um, two right now, probably in between standard deviation one and two right here with these three little candles right here, trying to make a decision, just consolidate. Yeah, basically. Basically, that's what you got right here, because I've seen this on so many other charts, where this seems to be the case, even with Microsoft right now. Like I said, I'm attempting a short position on Microsoft as that 4 hour is just not letting up right now. But maybe the 4 hour is just consolidating to push up higher. And again, this is just kind of like what I will be looking at right here for spot. If it does, it's going to be right in between max pain right here. You can just use your fib extension on that low, high, low for this right here. And of course the channel, if you want to follow that, follow my model right here for spot. And we'll see if we get it. We will most certainly see if we get it. Um, if I put on, let's see, if I put on an anchor VWAP, and I'm gonna do it from on the 4 hour time frame because it's gonna make it look a little cleaner if I do it from the 4 hour time frame. Let's go back here. Uh, yep, drop it right here. Um, your extensions are probably sitting right here and it's flat. You can see like the VWAP is kind of flat right here, right? VWAP is kind of flat. And if I put these on, it's probably round about where we're at. Yeah. So right through here, you can see. Um, this right here pushes back up, it has the potential of capping out exactly where I'm looking at right now. It's kind of, I mean, yeah, it's flat right in here. Um, so it's similar to what I'm what I'm trying to do with Microsoft right now, if it gives it to me, if it gives it to me. Uh, Basically this. Now, God forbid that it is simply consolidating to expand out. You won't be able to see it from this because it doesn't really show great expansions. VWAP doesn't. No, when it resets, of course it does, but prior to resetting, you won't get that. You need to look at your Bollinger Band for that, and you understand that it is between standard deviation 1 and 2 right now. But it looks about something like this. Like maybe it just consolidates in here for a while, and then it's 4 hour. It's either going to correct down, which is what I'm looking for, because you are finding like bear divs on the 4 hour time frame. You're finding bear divs, but it'll only drop so much before it starts to give you some bullish divergence. So it's just that the momentum. It's a little weak on the 4 hour time frame, just a little weak on the 4 hour time frame. I'm gonna take a look over here at Microsoft. So this is my attempt right here. So, I got my little notation up here that overall the trend favors the bulls, right? We know that. Overall, it's bullish. It even reads it up here at the top. Bulls are in control of the trend right now, obviously. But the 4 hour is still showing a lack of strength. So we're still seeing some bearish divergence come in on Microsoft here at the highs. Um, Now, is it simply consolidation or is it is simple consolidation to gear up for that next leg higher, or is it going to correct to the downside? So if it does correct, then this it's not a big move. I would be looking for something like this. This is a 3 to 1 right here. But just like with Microsoft, I mean, not, sorry, just like with SPY, turn on my view watch right here. Just pay attention to this one up here. Um, This is our zone right here. So this would be the zone right here. So I know it's expanding if it does take out the stop level up here. I know it's expanding. I'm gonna leave it alone at that point and just let it go. Because it did get a nice pop back above the VWAP. I did take the short over here. I sold. Well, I took the short along with some selling that I could see coming in from one of the insider wells. But then the price action came back up against me because I could see that it was slowing down right through here. You can see the little doji candles coming in right there. It started to slow down. It had like a falling wedge type situation. If I look at it here from um, this time frame right here, you can see this through here, which is rather close to where VWAP is at. So it was like this right here, and then it broke up and it came against me. And I did take a little bit of a hit right there because I held it. I didn't cut it immediately, even though I could see it. It'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes. That's how I felt. But I decided to go ahead and let it go. And then I decided I just I just feel like it comes down. But my feelings don't matter, which is how people get wrecked, right? I'm not gonna get wrecked. I have my stop loss in place, um, but it's what I'm looking for. Somewhere in here, you know, somewhere through here. Again, unless it absolutely just breaks out above here. Like on this time frame right here, it suggests that I raise it. I'm not going to raise it. I'm going to leave it exactly like it is because if it breaks out above there, then it's gone. I'm just going to have to consider it, another loss on it. But this is my little setup here on Microsoft. My little setup. The problem I had right in here is I didn't take it off of the double top. I didn't take it off the double top because it had bear divs all through here, and it was still pushing up higher. So I gave it some room to prove itself, and by the time it did prove itself, it started to slow down, and it reflected in the chart. and then it ended up just showing some bullish bids. Let me just go ahead and hide this again. And I think that we were also pretty near, we're pretty near a pivot point up here, but I have to let it go at that point, just because of the potential of the expansion. I can't just look at my pivot up here and be like, okay, I'm gonna get stopped out. It's gonna reject there, and then it's gonna go in the direction I'm looking for it to go in. I can't do that because if it expands, it can continue, and I don't want to get caught in that trap. Um, Hey, why crypto YT? I have been doing good on stocks. I have been doing absolutely wonderful on stocks. Wonderful on stocks. I don't know if you caught any of my posts or anything like that, but yeah, I have been doing really great on stocks, and especially catching stuff during the earnings. That has been a banger. Just catching things during the earning and looking at what's overextended, what's undervalued at the time, and jumping in before the earnings to get those great moves. Yeah, we've done really, really good. Strong move off of ARM, strong move off of Palantir. Got into both of those before earnings. Strong move off of Amazon coming up. I mean, I can go on. The list goes on. In Mickey D's right now. But yeah, it's a lot of things that have been underweight for a minute here. That you could tell that once earnings kicked in, that those would probably get some sort of a bounce. So yeah, doing really good on all of those. And made a lot of great calls that I didn't enter in on. Took a short off of Google here, but I closed that out yesterday, and I did share that on X. Anybody um, who took the Google Play was watching for Google, started watching for Google right here at the entry point. Started watching for Google, saying that right through here, Google was showing a lot of weakness in the chart, and we caught it before that news dropped, and the news just accelerated it down, gave us instant payout on Google here. I cut it. I sold out right in here though because it's holding. It's holding this point of control, this value area high right now, and there is a chance that they may attempt to push it up from here. They may, but beautiful play off of Google here. Amazon, of course, was another one that we were seeing. I mean, talk about the fact that Zuck was selling. I actually did not take the short play on it. It is holding here at the point of control though, and it has been holding it. Momentum seems to still be intact. He didn't sell off. He's selling off in increments. Of course, it's not going to flush the market with his 15 million shares that he plans to offload, of course. But nonetheless, it's going to hit the market. And I've been updating on that on X as well. So make sure you do follow me at Down to Crypto TA. So I try to catch the reports as early as I can to put them out there for you. And I'm only looking at specific, you know, mega caps, large mega caps, to see when they're doing things. I caught one on Palantir. I'm so long on Palantir though, but Palantir, you have some selling coming in right here. I caught that, and well, I saw the filing early enough to say, hey, it's a little bit spill off from here, but it's no major. Just a little bit right in there. The arm play right here still going. So the arm long. Look at that beautiful, beautiful freaking entry on arm. I mean, still going, looking good. There was another one for Qualcomm. I did not take the Qualcomm one, but Qualcomm, blot this out. Qualcomm still looking beautiful, still pushing up in here. So beautiful. Did call a play on Meta as well. I let you guys make your own decision on it. But when I saw Meta right here with this wick right here, I said it looked like it bottomed out. You can catch a long on it. You can play the VWAP entry on this. And sure enough, that's what you got, the VWAP entry right over here into some resistance right now from the VWAP from the pivot high here. So it has been shopping about around this VWAP right here. That was another good one. Tesla did an overshoot on the level that I was looking for, which was the trend line, ascending trend line through here. So a little bit of an overshoot down here for spill over from the level watching right here. But I do like the way that, it came back up and started showing it some love, um, just behind that break right there. Break of its ending in this formation right here to the downside. So that one's looking good. There was sand disc for those who caught the sand disc play. But the sand disc one, it was right here. It was perfect, perfect, perfect off of the ascending trend line right here for sand disc. Perfect, kind of going sideways. Did catch some bearish divergence here across the highs here. Been holding at this point of control and value area low right now. A lot of resistance through here. Basically, these are, I call it my heat map now. I don't just call it my zone. I call it my heat maps now. But I did get into a SanDisk long yesterday. Very conservative size on the SanDisk long here. Using a little bit of leverage on it, not a lot, 5x on it, not doing anything major. And I kept the size, um, something that I can handle for my finances. There is some things that I see on SanDisk. If you're trying to use margin on it, that might be where your issue comes from, trying to use margin on it. But if you're looking to accumulate SanDisk, I mean, anywhere from here down, I think it's a good play for accumulation. Anywhere from here down to, let's just say, I'm looking at this right here. That's what you're seeing written across my thing right here. $777 and the 643 right here. It's an attractive buy level. I'm not saying that SanDisk is going to go down there. I'm not saying that it's going to do that. But if it does continue to put in lower highs, it does open up the door for it to do something like that. SanDisk had beats all across the board. The only thing that's a hang up for SanDisk right now is going to be the fact that they're very dependent on the data centers. So investors are a little concerned with, hey, right now the AI play is going really good, the data center play is going really good. If that sector start, if it starts to lose momentum, then what? Then what? SanDisk doesn't have another stream of income. That's where it's banking money on right there. So that is the only catalyst right now for SanDisk is that. So just bear that in mind when that sector starts to cool off, what happens with SanDisk then? So because that's where it's relying on its income from. The same thing would go with Palantir. Palantir is heavily reliant on government contracts. When it's a miss, it's a miss. When it slows down, you know, uh, might have a problem. But I'm long on SanDisk, and I just did it yesterday. Just looking at it. I didn't take. I actually did. I did take this one, but I didn't take it off of my level. I let it push up from my level, and then it's just things I had too much on it. I wasn't thinking about it. I closed it out immediately. We were still just right here. We were still just right. We were still just right in here, so close to the trend line. I was like, ah. But I did it this time with something that I didn't feel uncomfortable with. So you got that. Um, I'm gonna hit this one right here real quick. I really didn't plan on covering these, but snow is coming into some overhead resistance. Snow was another great one that I took along snow. I don't think I caught it down here at the exact low. I think I caught snow right in here. Um, and then earnings happened and this thing just popped because I could see how extended snow was to the downside. So I was banking on that pop to the upside. And then I ended up selling my snow up here, right here. Ended up selling it right there. And it has kept going. So that's good. But you can go back and watch prior videos where I covered that. Um, um, so it's coming into a little bit of overhead resistance between 326 and 354. I'll show you this. I didn't have any plans on sharing this information. I give out a lot of great information, especially when it comes to the stock market. I give some banger good information when it comes to the stock market. Um, People see it and you know, they don't give you the love that you actually deserve. But not to brag, I'm not a bragger. I appreciate all praise, all praise be to the Most High that I've made really great calls 98% of the time on stocks. 98, that's a high call. 98% of the time it's strong. All right, so you see this right here, it's kind of broadening situation that Snowflake is in right here coming up. It's different. See, it's kind of choppy. I think I did at least share. Did I share that part on X? Let me just see if I shared that on X or not. I think I may have started to write something up. I'm not sure if I actually posted it. I may have decided not to. Yeah, I didn't post it. I didn't post it. When I share it with people that are watching this stream, you'll know. So this right here, this ascending trend line from here, we have like this broadening megaphone, whatever you want to call it right here. It's not the same when you take a look at the RSI. It's been a big cap point for it right here. So if you look at the RSI right here, let me put it on the monthly time frame. I think I blocked it over here. So if you look at it here from a monthly perspective right here, you can see how this has been a block zone, a rejection point right here. So each time coming up, it's been a rejection point right here. And you wouldn't have known this until you got these 2 points right here. So when it came up that time, that was clearly a rejection point. Same thing goes with looking at it on the chart. You wouldn't have known that unless you had it like this right here, and then you start coming up like this. You see that difference right now between here and here? It's a big difference. And this is a ceiling right here. So even with the lack of momentum coming in right here, it is gonna hit a ceiling somewhere right between here. If it starts to stall out and go sideways, expect for this to fall back over. You can be a little bit more conservative, and you can look for it to come back below the ascending trend line right here. If it does start to walk sideways, you can look for a break back into here and then look for it to cool off. I think it's a bit overvalued right in here, very much so overvalued right in here. See what else matches up with this. It's going to be right here. Let me drop that and take a look at this. See that? It's been a capping point right here for Snowflake. So while I was a lover of Snowflake when it dropped down through here, I was a lover of Snowflake. I mean, just look at where you've been capping at. And this is no longer pushing up. It's actually coming in. So somewhere between, again, I put it as 326, just round the number up, 326 to 354. If it comes up here and it starts to chop, 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 then you're more than likely going to see the break back down here. I'm not saying that it has to be an extensive break back down into the accumulation zone or the buy zone all the way down here for it, but you probably would end up seeing something like that for snow that it corrects off of these highs through here. Um, yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that. So be careful with that. I'm likely not going to post this on X. So if you're catching it off of the video, this is what you're looking at here. I don't have any plans on taking any shorts on Snowflake. But it is a point where big money, big money will it's, I think big money is already reevaluating the price of snow right now. And they'll start offloading right through here. Let me just check and see if there's anything coming in right now. Yeah, you already have insiders have been taking some profits out of it right through here already. Had a few, starting from oh, yeah, you've had quite a few, quite a few, you can see you've had quite a few, Form 4s, 144s being filed. Usually, I like to look at the 144, that's as soon as they drop that 144, it's already being sold. You can see filing date 8/3, reported date 8/3. They have a few days before they actually show you that they literally sold it, but when you see that 144 drop, get filed, and just note that it's already hitting the market, and so you can see right there yesterday, I'm not yesterday, but on the 5th, um, on the f well, yeah, find it. Let me find it right over here. I don't see it right in there, but right here where they filed on the 5th, right here, it was, sold off on the 3rd, so, this week, so be careful here to not be buying into the highs, but start taking some profit for yourself if you are in snow. Not financial advice, just letting you know that. I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at some of the big movers. See if you can't find something in here off of these big movers in here. Hold on, I'm gonna come back to this. Taking that liquidity over this high right here. Finally got that push above that value area high here. See if it's just gonna be a liquidity grab. I mean, it looks good on the 4-hour time frame. I wouldn't just, I'm not a big scalper. I don't scalp. Let me put it like that. I can scalp. I don't scalp, for the most part. I'm just not into it. It's entertaining though. It's very, very, very entertaining. I have to catch a swing. Toppy. Toppy can mean it just consolidates a little bit before it corrects, but it is toppy. Looks like this is gonna go sideways and up, creating like some sort of a rising structure into the highs. Look like it might do something like that. Tend to see that when the SMI starts to show weakness. This is strength. I was looking for it to. I mean, it's so close to resistance. I really, ooh, really hate a play like this. It's so close to resistance, and looking for that liquidity to get taken right there. That's more than a 3 to 1 right there. That's 0.25. That's a cheap risk right there. Takes if it pushes up and takes out the liquidity right there. Um, let's see. That's stretching thin right there. Oh yeah, this is gonna yeah slide this over. I want to see, but I'm gonna swing back down. This could also do right here. I'm just setting this to the side for now because it could also be like right back in here. It have bull divs in here. If it, if it's gonna drop back in here, coming back in here to a mean reversion, it's a great place right here. Because the last thing I want to see it do is come here, bounce up, hit the resistance, and then drop to here, and then try to push back up there again. See what it does between that point and now. I can just move that one at the top, and I know that I'm looking at. It's holding steady above the pivot right now, holding steady above the pivot. But it's gonna reverse right here. Like I said, it's gonna get a drop down from right in here. It is at resistance. It's just took the liquidity. Um, Oh, you have a great weekend too, our crypto YT. I appreciate you so much. Much love. Thank you for coming by. Uh, to do something. I'm just gonna set an alert. Uh, let's set an alert for there, and then set an alert for here for Bitcoin. Which one of these? If it rolls over right here, because it is quite. It's to a point where I would be expecting that momentum to break back down, swing fail. Well, it actually wouldn't be a swing fail because you got a closure right here. Not on the 15-minute, it won't be a swing fail. On the higher time frame, swing fail for sure. Let me set. Uh, no, I don't want to create a limit order. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Set an alert on that. I'm gonna set an alert here as well. Um, you hide some things so you can see what I'm looking at right here. So that's 64,845 and 64,684. Right now it's holding up. Um, yep, not coming back down right now. Holding that high. Momentum will still end up breaking. That'll be your clue. Softening at this high. Got the wick right here, but really need to see that momentum. I mean, you can DGen it if you want to. DGen it. Uh, oh, I know what I was about to look at. Let me see. Yep, got him. Got him. 642. Uh, so about 8.86 shorts got liquidated right there. 8.86 million shorts got liquidated right there. Taking that liquidity above those triple highs right through here. So quite a bit of shorts got liquidated right through there. Volume on that push up, very, very petty. On the 15-minute time frame, I like to see at least 1K on volume, at least 1K. And it's going to read 1K on the Bitcoin chart. It's going to read 1K. Of course, we know it's a lot more money being traded right there, but that's what I like to see. And 344 is petty. Because the 4 hour is strong, the longest this play that I would be looking for. So that's where I'll start to see it and roll over. That was also a pretty steep deviation right there too. Hold on, let me take a look at this 1 hour. We know the value area high is here, but also right here. Um, squeeze. Also right here. You see, it's pretty extended, quite extended here, which is basically being. Hmm, yeah, that would be problematic right here. Problematic right here for sure. So, if I mean, you've been like I said, you've been able to catch some little swing plays. I mean, not swing plays, but little scalpy stuff in this little range, playing the range or whatever. Uh, so If you want to do this without the noise, like all the noise that's showing up in the chart, you can just simply use the channel and just this was connected from here to here, but I needed to extend it out without the full extend to the right. But it's this touch point to this touch point right here, and then it goes across to this high right here. You can readjust it if you like to. I like this high right here because at least it captures a few more touch points on it right here, and then it's a half a size, a half a deviation up from that. So if I look at let me look at my settings on mine, so that's a yeah 1.5, just 1.5 up to here. You're at extreme extremes anywhere up in here, but yeah, this is pretty good right through here. Looking for that rejection to come in. And I'm not going to move my lines even if these move because it'll still make sense. Even if these start to rise up, these two levels right here still make sense because if these keep pushing up, then this would just be the standard deviation. The standard deviation of pushing to here, and then the longer term deviation would push into here, which would end up being this red one, which are the main ones I like to look at. So if I turn those off and I was just looking at the top three, those are my main ones right there, especially on the move back down to look at that one, that one, that one. Specifically when they have like a nice little spread. Those two, right? It's those three right there. Get the push back up and you are interested in taking the short off of it, um, yeah, so maybe, let me turn this off. I just didn't like the volume on that. It did this channel again, and you want it to keep your stop loss conservative, maybe in the center of this, right in here, at a point 50, right in there, something like that. And then that would be a 3 to 1 if he could get if price action does hold up right here. It does hold up right here and it attempts to push up back into the top side of the channel. That could be a play right there with the stop above there. It's pretty extended. Still climbing higher, sideways and up until it breaks this channel. Right now, that four looks it's pretty good. So as it continues to hold there, so that's the deal there with getting. All right, I'm gonna move forward here. Let me come back over here. I want to look at some. I may end up having to just post this right here on X. But you got some winners, some runners right now. I don't usually have these in here. I add the other ones. I was looking at I. INSM right now, hitting some local resistance in here. So hitting some local resistance right now. So they're doing pretty decent here. Um, they surged about 34% post market following their Q2 earnings beat, and got some upgrades from your top analysts, or at least what they're identified as the top analysts. But you are hitting some local resistance. It did get a break above the long-standing descending trend line that was through here. It was on 12 hour. We can see that a little bit better right here. So you can see this long-standing uh, descending trend line right here. It did get a break above that, but you came right into some local resistance right here at these prior lows through here. Um, I would look for a little bit of a cool off right here. I think that earlier when I was looking at it, it was showing that it was toppy, and it's a great place to see it just kind of chop a little bit. But nonetheless, the beauty about this one right here is this is the first higher low that it has put in from this time frame, probably even further out. But let's just stick to this 12-hour time frame. Right now, this is the first higher low it has given. So if it does push up a little bit higher, maybe in between here somewhere, maybe capturing somewhere around the lows in here for a rejection. But right now it is hitting some local resistance. I would be looking for an entry on this one, to be honest with you. That is what I would be looking at. There's an entrance here. There's one right there. Um, it was very overlappy. Uh, Coming down here, nice little inverse head and shoulders right there also. Um, that's beautiful. Uh, didn't quite tap into the support level right here as far as I can tell right here, but that would have been local support. Almost some different time frame. Anytime I'm looking at my levels, I usually do it from higher up. Um, I did it from no, monthly. So it came from a monthly time frame. So the resistance levels are monthly resistance levels. Uh, are monthly resistance levels. Okay, just you know that. So it is a strong area right here. What is resistance? But being that that is the first higher low, if it doesn't get overlapping, it doesn't come back down here at this level right here, then it could be in the midst of a wave three, as long as it doesn't come back down here. And so I would be looking, wave three tends to hit 1.618, bare minimum, 1.618. Be close to tapping into that. Uh, close to tapping into 1.618, all right, here. And then this is your first max pain right here, and then the second max pain right here. I can just pick a day where I just totally stop market. Then that way I'm not rushing to move through these, so I can look at some additional data. Um, but I'm just not able to do that. So let me just take off. So here at the next local area of resistance, so somewhere between this one, that and there, and somewhere between where it is, where this local resistance is and this one right here, minus the wicks, okay? Minus the wicks. You're in your zone potentially, but it could potentially be a wave three. And I would, if it starts to do any chopping and doesn't overlap with this one, I'll be looking to continue to ride this thing up higher. It looks really good as far as I can see. It's just getting started. It's just getting started with the momentum on the weekly time frame. It is just getting started. Or was it the monthly time frame? Take a look at monthly momentum. So this move from yesterday, it looked like uh, it looks like it is just getting started. MACD still looks good, just showing that there was a correction coming down, which is hence the overlap coming down, right? The overlap coming down. Delta needs to pull up a little bit closer to your RS to the zero line. I think momentum was already resetting. Yeah, momentum is just getting started on this one. So this could be a great ride to the upside, a great ride to the upside right here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, beautiful ride to the upside. You just get a little bit of a pullback through here. I would be looking for that. Maybe it just comes back in and it taps into the upside of the breakout, back test of the region that we have to break out from. That could be a plan. I know that's not a huge move. That's fine. You don't want a huge move because you don't want, first of all, you don't want to see it fall back inside of the range that it got to break out of. That would be terrible. And you don't want to see it come back and tap this high. Having this higher low, that would invalidate the idea of a 1, 2, and then this potentially being 3. So the max you want to look for would probably be a back test here and then continuation to the upside from the 15 minutes. So that's a pretty strong move up right there. Pretty strong move up. Unless you're not using any leverage and you're interested in taking it at resistance. That would be the only, that would be the other option. I'm not going to use any leverage, which is smart. Um, which is smart. I'm not going to use any leverage. I'm just going to buy a little bit. I'm going to cut it if it falls back into here and taps into here. I'm going to cut it because then I know I'm not getting a third wave up. I'm gonna cut it. It's that simple without using any leverage or without using any margin. You take a small hit, but you won't take a major loss, and you won't be sitting here holding the bag that you just got to pump off of the earnings, and it rolls back down on you. So that's one there. Maycom, I was looking at it, but this is another one that's doing pretty good. It's up like 14% on QQ earnings results. All right, so be this one right here. Um, it is also hitting a little bit of resistance right in here. It's really hard to tell it through here, but you can see right here, you have this high volume node right here. If I'm on the monthly time frame also, you're gonna notice, let me hide my drawings for a second here, and I put on here, no, not this time frame. Yeah, here we go. On the weekly time frame right here. So you can see the switching back into like 7 right here, which is also acting as a little bit of local resistance right here, but beautiful bounce off of our 2-8 right here. Beautiful bounce off of the 2-8. 2-8, if you don't know, 2-8 is simply a 28 look back period of the RSI. That's what that red one right there would be. So if I was here, you'll see that it's your mean reversion here on the RSI on the 2-8. You can see that mean reversion right there. Flex right there and push back up. So you're still holding on to the 2-8. 2-8. Okay. That's what that is. You can see my link period right here is 428, and that's where the red one comes in. That's why I usually use these three right here on my mean reversion plays. Know what price action will be at. My RSI comes back down. What the situation is. But that is that. I'm gonna hit cancel. That change there. But then a little bit of local resistance in here for Maycom as well. But this looks really nice here for Maycom. I didn't see anything in here for Maycom that suggests that this one right here doesn't just continue to like beautiful back test on 7 right here, holding up very strong. If it did come down into the, I mean, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening right now, but you are still, lacking well, it's a monthly time frame, so it may not register right away anyway. But you can see here, MACD instantly turned back to positive, but the delta is not. The delta is still showing that it's lacking some strength, and that the MACD could still be heading towards this fast signal, which is the non-EMA. That is what the monthly time frame is telling me here for Maycom. Um, so a little bit of local resistance right there. Getting a couple of flashes here on some sales signals, but a little bit, yeah, want to make sure it's not just news driven and it doesn't roll back down and probably hit like that 194 or something like that. 'Cause it was pretty steep up here, pretty high right here. Pretty high here on the monthly time. Yeah, breakdown. It's also the value area low that is trying to. Could also say the value area low, just using the support resistance right now, but you could also say that. Besides that, another nice beautiful number should potentially it's overlapping, so it unless this is it right here, quite overlapping. This move up, which is different from what we saw INSM. Happy liquid. Not right now, anyway. So it's quite different from here. Let's see, perfect. I probably wouldn't want to see that lose this local potential local support right in here. If it did pull back, I would want to see it hold here as opposed to coming back and holding this one, which would set it back here on this ascending trend line right here. If it did come back into this one, like anytime soon. See Toppy, it's reading Toppy as well here. Got a couple of, let's see, for 4 hours still looks decent. Daily time frame still looks decent. What was that 4 hour? Yeah, yeah, a bit toppy, a bit toppy. So again, this is basically across the board when you're looking at your 4 hour time frames. Um, it's a little bit toppy. Set an alert on this. Amazon. So as it does begin to walk sideways a little bit more here, I'll look for something like this where, I mean, because it could, whenever I don't see it, whenever I don't see this low pull up, it could round trip whenever I don't see that low pull up. So we're gonna look for something like this to show that buyers are starting to lose a little bit of steam right here. You can see it was sellers starting to lose some steam right here as it started to rise up, and then boom, same thing over here. Sellers were starting to lose some steam. Edit and delete. Um, right in here. So sellers were starting to lose some steam right in here, but it only gave it a small little bounce up projection and came down right there. So I'm gonna look for something like that along with this. And this is probably one I can give an update on X, but toppy at local resistance right now. For this one, a couple of other movers right now, which I will post this right here. A couple of other movers right now. IOVA up 31.1%. I have not looked at the chart today to see if the numbers are still there because markets are moving right now. So surge following strong oncology pipeline updates and accelerating commercial therapy uptake. INSM up 33.9%. Q2 earnings beat coupled with major Wall Street target price upgrades driven by flagship drug growth. So that's another good one right there. SITM up 26.6%. Strong demand in precision time and chips for AI hardware infrastructure fueled on earnings beat. You got Warner Bros. In here, not up significantly, but 1.71%. They top consensus revenue and profit expectations on strength and streaming subscriber metrics. One day soon, one day soon. Netflix is going to be back on here, okay? Netflix is going to be back to thing. I need to take a look at Netflix later, some other time. And then TAP up 1.3%, and in that order right here delivered higher than expected operating margins despite broader consumer spending headwinds. So these right here are not up significantly right now. They may be better ones to look at as opposed to something that's already seemed like a massive pump. But these are some right now major movers and earnings beats is what this is right here. I will post this on X. You can take a look at this. I probably won't do analysis on all of these. Likely, maybe not. Maybe if I find time to just do a chart on each one, it'll be a small graphic. You will have to zoom in on it because it's a lot. I won't be able to post all of this, but Warner Brothers for sure, I definitely would. Speaking of that, I did do a poll so I can get into. Let's see if I can find my poll. I can get into this chart this weekend. Right now, the poll is it's not set to end for another 5 days, but it is going to end before then because I have to be able to get the material together to give you the best technical analysis that I can to make your decision for the decision making when earnings takes place. So this is like two next week. Yeah, so I have to get started on it this weekend. So I'm going to end up cutting this. Right now, it has been Nebius Group. It's been the winner right now. So if you did want to jump in on that poll, just put your vote in so I'll know because I'm only going to do the analysis on one of them. I like the fact that Core Weave is number two. Maybe I did two the last time. So maybe I'll do two. If Nebius Group doesn't look like it's clear, then I guess I'd do Core Weave. Because right now, those are the two right now. So between those two, let's see. But I have to be able to get the material together. Trying to make some money. Bitcoin's still holding up above the pivot. Still holding up above the pivot, just chopping sideways right now. It's still looking to break the momentum here. Do, 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 do. It's still holding up right there. In fact, let me turn this off. That still holding up right here above that pivot. You can see it got that small little candle drop right there, but you can see momentum is still holding through here. So momentum hasn't fallen over just yet. Still getting tight and it's looking to roll over. Okay, so it can be a short. It's just that it's so close. It can be a short. I just don't. It won't give you too much, in my opinion. You won't get too much out of it. At best, if it doesn't hold one of these two right here and it just absolutely nukes through those, then maybe come back down here towards the low right here. Not breaking, not taking out the low, but coming back down here closer to that low. Maybe that's something that you can look forward to. But right now, I'm leaning on one of these two that I have this alert set up for. And yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards, one of these two right here. And then it tries to come up and take out that liquidity right there. Again, like I said, volume was not really here on this push up, and I'd like to see some better volume than that. It wasn't here, but definitely tight and looking to get that drop down right here. All right. And I think I'm gonna have to let that be that. I was gonna look at uh let's see. AVGO is still up. I shared my thoughts around AVGO before it got the bounce. It was a while ago when I shared that, and then I went back and I shared how it got the break to the upside out of the pattern that it was in. Google's still down a little bit. I think that we looked at Google. If we didn't, have to go back over and take a look at it. Microsoft's still holding up, which means that I'm still drowning. Means they haven't given me what I'm looking for just yet. just yet. It hasn't. See if I'm going to get that. Again, I did say I took sand disk. Um, this is so small. This is so small. I would have to ramble through these things right here to even find what I'm looking for. And I look at crowd. What we got right here? Oracle. It's some stuff in here to be bought. So let me just say that right there. There's some things in here to be bought, to be accumulated. Some stuff in here to be accumulated, especially especially right over in here. But yeah, this is just noisy. It's just noisy. Apple up 0.45%. Apple kept putting in some bear divs in here. I am in an Apple play as well. You guys saw that the other day when I last streamed here for Apple. Um, And I told you I was going to give you guys this setup right here because I was looking for the push to come back down. And then when we were streaming, I moved it over and I said, nah, I'm not going to do that with y'all today. So I slid it over because it ended up dropping in here while I was streaming that day and it hit the entry target. And I was going to share it on X. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. It has been putting in a little bit of bear divs up in these highs right through here. It had been putting in a little bit of bearish divergence in here. Can't see it right here. What chart was I on? What chart was I on when I was looking at the bearish divergence? I don't even remember. Was it the 1 hour time frame? I don't remember. It's struggling a little bit right through here at this resistance right here. Struggling a little bit at our pivot right here. And we were seeing as well the last time I was on here. You see this right here. We were seeing that it looked like it was about to. It was looking like, well, it broke down from there actually. Yeah, it's struggling right in here. Anytime you start chopping like that too, struggling a little bit right in here, trying to get that MACD to come up, push above this delta. That would be nice. Might get a little bit something more just to get it into that golden pocket right there, but it's just been holding on for dear life right here. I'm barely up. I'm up like just a little over 10% right now on good old Apple. Down 3%. Just say 3.5 on Microsoft at the moment, and I'm up 6% on SanDisk right now. So that's where I'm at in my life with the situation right here. Google, we were seeing, we already took a look at Google starting to slip right here. I mean, that would be good for you guys if you're anybody who anyone who's still taking a look at this. Like I said, I cut mine, but this was the original post right here on Google. So it was a day before the news came out on, oh yeah, see, look at Bitcoin. It's getting that push up. So glad, so glad. See, you gotta wait for that momentum to shift. That's why I'm a momentum trader. And I don't always work. It don't always work. But good Lord, you gotta wait. You gotta wait because that 4 hour is looking stellar. See that? No momentum, no momentum, no momentum break. Yeah. Long as that momentum stay pinned up, I don't touch. Me no touch. That was so weird. Anyway, I gotta go. It's still holding up right here. We're gonna be checking out this next resistance level coming in right up in here. So if you get it right through here, it could end up being a good short position. Do you want to take it immediately off of that? Maybe you want to be an aggressive trader and take it like that. You could be an aggressive trader and take it like that. Otherwise, you want to let it push through, get the best entry that you can get. and then take an entry on it. So let's just say it pushes through here. Maybe it wants to pop its little ugly head up into that 65.5. I'm just say 65.530. What do we have here? 65.499. So maybe you want to wait for something like that, and then get interested in it and something like that. Be pretty extended in that regard. So that could be the play. That could be the play. We pushing for this liquidity right here. Usually, like on your 15-minute time frame, though, when you see that volume coming up, like I said, at least a 1K on the volume. Um, and I tend to use the Binance chart. At least a 1K, that tends to slow things down. We ain't got that. We don't have that. So yeah. I'm gonna move this. So at 65, 499 that we're looking at over there on the 4 hour time frame, that is coming up right here. Um, you can see that 65,529. So it would push it out above, like wicking above it, like it did right here. That would be the result. So far, it hasn't really touched right here. This green one, it hasn't touched this one, except right over here. It touched it there. It didn't quite touch it right here. You got this one candle right here where it did touch it. So let's see. This would be the new swing level right here. Um, is that high? 65 to 13.33. Shouldn't it swing fail level right there? And it failed to swing above it right there on the 15-minute time frame also. That might be it. I mean, that could do it. That could do it. Because it didn't manage to close above it, as far as I could tell. It didn't manage to close above it. 65, 213, 33. Yeah, that could be it right there. No, it closed above it very so slightly though, but you can see that rejection point right there. So the roll back over that could be the rollover right there because it didn't work back there. This could be it. Alternative would be to let it break it and then see if it could come back up and back test the high, and get another rejection from it right there. That would be the alternative. But I've got to go. I've got to go. I didn't even clean up the stream to show that I was no longer on. It's a lot to have to do. And my music decided it was going to stop playing. Let me just set an alert on that. That way I can drop this panel. Yeah, I'm afraid that this wouldn't come too far. You got dead space in here. So I do lean towards this right here for a bounce because you got dead space. You just got one, two, and then this whole move right here. That's all you have. One, two, and then this whole move right here. So this is just all one leg up. You wouldn't change any structure coming down through here whatsoever, which means you would need to put in another pivot that would give you a something that you could break on another failed attempt, and you don't have that through here. Just a strong push up. That's about it. I'm just gonna do it off of that. Yeah, so just a really strong move to the upside here. No, um, nothing. Only other thing I wouldn't. Uh, 7 is about as low as I want to go, or I care to go. It's about a 7. Yeah, you can see the clean swing fail right there. This came from the 15-minute time frame, so let me block. That's it right there, though. That looks like that's it. Uh, 7 momentum on 7. Just stalling behind that with the bear div right here, bear div right there as well. So double bear div. That's why I don't zoom out too much. But having a regression line is very helpful. Um, that's it. That's it. Let me get these crossing. I just want to block this to that. Thank you. That swing fail. There we go. There we go. There she goes. How many minutes I got left? Uh-oh. How many minutes do I have left? 8 minutes. 8 minutes for confirmation. But yeah, I mean, you could have easily, with the swing failure, um, made a decision on that, and then whatever your risk tolerance is, uh, just have your stop in place for that. Whatever your risk tolerance is, um, but that'll do it. Appreciate you for being here. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. Uh, I'm just going to slide this over. I'm going to slide this down to here since that could be an entry and that could be an entry as well. So only thing I have to slide is this right here. Just depends. But I think it bounces and it moves back up. You will only put in bullish divergence on the RSI, so I'm pretty sure it'll only just drop and push back up. I should make this number match, and then that way I can turn it off on here so it's easier to identify what I'm looking at on a pull down. Pretty decent support around the first one right there. I'm gonna do a full fib pull from low to high. I don't expect for this to be a steep retracement, and therefore I won't be going with golden pocket. How about that? That's pretty close. That's pretty close. I'll be looking for something like that. It's pretty close. Yeah, which would be the highs over here, which matches pretty well with the first one right there. And then these highs over here. Hey, hey. It seemed like the play. It seemed like the play to pursue a loan. Yeah. You had the deviations right here, which, like I said, they moved a little bit. That doesn't bother me at all because it'll just rise up. That'll end up being your common one right there. So let's look at it like this. It's pretty close on that pull. Pretty close. It does give it a little bit of extra space in here. Those prior lows right in there. Right in there. I'm gonna compensate and do it like that. And then let me see that again. Yeah, like I said, this would just push up into here instead. And then this one to push up into here. And those are the three important ones right there, because anything beyond here, you move into relative weakness. Let me just see, because I can't see this from the other one. I don't really like that. I'm gonna put it on this one close, but what I'm saying by that, I just want to see what my difference would be. I ain't like it. Just stick to what I'm sticking with. That's important right here. This is important. This song right here is very important. Twinning. So you can see right in here how when you start out, like over here, not really any, let me see. Did this have any bullish divergence? It had exaggerated. It did have a little bit of bullish divergence. It's quite exaggerated. You can see that the low here, and you see divergence. For anybody that don't know, you put it on a line chart. You do not use wicks. You do not use wicks for divergence. It's line chart. Is how you determine divergence, and you can see right here that it did make a lower low right here, and a higher low came in right here. And then you can see how the momentum or price action started to push up and away from here. Um, but once you see that, then you know that your momentum is actually rising away. But your natural return place would be something like this. Like this is going to stay steady. Like you move away from your main trend line right here. You move away from it right here. Price action does. But as it comes back in, it comes back into the same main trend right here where your momentum is determined at. So a break of that without having to add the lines here, and that way you can see it. It's useful to monitor it from your screen as well, from your candlestick charts as well. But if you didn't want to have all the lines on your chart, that's another way of looking at it. It's just here off of your RSI. So you'll see, and you will only put in bullish divs coming through here. You will only end up putting in bullish divergence. So holding and holding here on the 7-minute time frame. 15-minute is a few seconds off from coming to that close. We've already broken it here. Yep, we've already broken it. You better not do no swing fail. Rejection. Rejection. That's a nice wick. That's a nice wick. They play too much. They play way too much. Momentum did not return. Get off. Momentum did not return. They play too much. That's how they get you. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Let me see. Oh, sweet. Sweet. Look at that. I got to go. Love and appreciate you, and I see you next stream.